All right, I'm going to get started. It's not a long lesson today. It's really pretty much what we've been doing. Division is division is division. Today, we're going to be focusing on what to do when we encounter zeros, which doesn't sound like a challenging thing. But for some reason, when there are zeros in the dividend or the quotient, sometimes they throw us for a loop. And the example that we're going to start with is 637 thousandths divided by 7. I'm not even going to write a how, because the how is the same as we did yesterday and the day before and the day before. Your how is exactly the same. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to bring that decimal point up into your quotient, and you start at the beginning. 0 divided by 7 is 0. 0 times 7 is 0. And 0 minus 0 is 0. Bring down your 6. What is 6 divided by 7? 0. You cannot do it. This is where it gets challenging. Lots of people want to go right to that 63 and then say that that's 9. You can't do that. You have to process this 0 first. And then bring down your 3. If I didn't do that, my 9 would have been in the tenths column. It can't be. It needs to be here. So this right here, this is exactly what today's lesson is about using zeros in the quotient. Be very, very careful with that. 9 times 7 is 63. And 63 minus 63 is 0. Bring down the 7. 7 divided by 7 is 1. 1. 0, excuse me. What questions do you have about that? That's okay, Grayson. Does anyone have any questions on that? The biggie is paying attention to this guy, to your 0 right here. In all of the problems that we're working with today, there's going to be zeros in the quotient. You have to process those zeros as if they're part of the quotient, because they are part of the quotient. Okay? All right, let's do another one. Start with my decimal point. Always, always, always bring your decimal point up. 0 divided by 2 is 0. What do I do now? I have to process this. Don't just go to that 14. Process it one place value at a time. What is 0 divided by 2? 0. So we're going to put that 0 in the tenths and process it out. What is 1 divided by 0? 0. Now, when I bring down my 4, I have 14. What is 14 divided by 2? 7. So my answer is 7 thousandths. Okay. That would be it. However, something really weird can happen. Any volunteers? Sure, Nick. Why not? Talk to me.
So you do 2 divided by 3,
Which is?
0.
Keep going.
Then you put a 0 under the 2.
Keep going.
Then you do 2 minus 0, which is 2.
Keep going.
Then you bring down the 9.
Going.
And then 29 divided by 3 is 9. Well, it's not 9, but that's the closest.
Yeah.
And 3 times 9 is 27.
Keep going.
And then that's 2. So it's then remainder 2.
No.
What?
No. No more remainders. We stopped remainders back in December. Reva? It was remainder 2. You're not wrong. It used to be remainder 2. What's the strategy, Reva?
I'm pretty sure that you put a 0
Yep.
after the 2.
We put a 0 here.
Yep.
And bring it down. What is 20 divided by 3? It'd be 6. 6 times 3 is 18. 20 minus 18 is 2. What do? Put in a 0. Bring it down. I have 20. 20 divided by 3 is 6. 6 times 3 is 18. 18 from 20 is 2. Put in a 0. Bring it down.
This is
Yeah.
just going to keep going
This
on
is just
forever.
going to go on forever.
You remember what this is called. You're absolutely right. This is known as a repeating decimal. What is it that would keep repeating? What keeps repeating? What would keep repeating over and over and over and over and over again?
0.
No.
What?
In my quotient, what would keep repeating over and over and
6.
over and over again?
6.
Right, Emma, right, 6. So this is what I would write as my answer. You should remember that. Do you remember that little symbol we put over there, the line? That's math language for the 6 will keep repeating over and over and over and over and over. How do you know if it's going to keep repeating over and over and over and over again? The rule is you look for 3 or more times. So here I had 1, 2, 3 20s, and it was going to keep repeating over and over and over again. What your book is looking for you to do is they want you to round to the nearest thousandth, is what they say. So this you can't do in your workbook. You can't type this into your Google assignment. So this is what I would have you do. You can also do some rounding. Your answer would be this. And that would go on forever, right? If I'm rounding to my nearest thousandth, I look to the right, that's a 6, so I'm going to round this 6 up to a 7. So this is what I'm looking to write into my homework. We're going to practice a couple of more of these. Go ahead, Reba.
I have a question.
Yes.
So it's 0.966. If it was 0.944, what would you do?
Then it would keep going 9444444. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, but how would you round it?
It would be 0.94, 0.94, 0.9440, 0.944, because it would round down to 4.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. Let's do another practice. There's going to be a repeating decimal. Where would I start here? Emma?
You bring up the decimal point,
Perfect. Good girl. Keep going.
and then you do 1 divided by 7, which
Which
is 0.
is? Keep going.
And then you do 0 times 7, which is 0, and then you subtract 1 minus 0 to get 1.
And bring down to 5. Good. Now what?
And then you do 15 divided by 7, which
Is?
2.
Keep going.
And then 2 times 7 is 14. And then 15 minus 14 equals 1.
Now what?
You put a 0 after the 5, and you put the 0 after the 5.
Keep going.
And then you bring down the 0.
Keep going.
And then you do 10 minus 7,
No,
or
divided by.
7, which is 1. And then you do 1 times 7, which is 7. And then you subtract 10 minus 7 to get 3.
Keep
And then
going.
you add another 0. And
Keep
then
going.
bring it down. And then you do 30 divided by 7, which is 4.
Perfect. Good girl. Keep going.
Then you do 4 times 7, which is 28. And then subtract that to get 2.
Keep
And
going.
then you add another 0.
Keep going.
And then bring that one down.
Keep going.
And then you do 20 divided by 7,
Which
Which
is?
2.
Keep going.
And then you do 2 times 7, which would be 14. And then you subtract those 2 to get 6.
Yep.
And then you add another 0,
How long is this going to go on for?
like ever, for a long time.
So this is not a repeating decimal. This is known as a non-terminating decimal. Non-terminating.
Mr. D,
Yeah.
I can't hear you.
At all? Can you hear me?
I'm going to try to log off and log back
Yeah.
in.
Because everyone else can hear me. Yes, Sophia.
So, like, what would be your answer if it goes
I'm
on
going to
and
tell
on
you. I'm
and
going to tell
on?
you. A non-terminating decimal means it goes on forever. Excellent question. It goes on forever. Your book asks you to round to the nearest thousandth. So right now, what Emma did is
Can't
Emma has. Are you there, Marcello? Can you hear me, Marcello? I don't know. What Emma did is she have solved it one place value past the thousandths. Now she needs to round. So she's going to look to the right. That's a 2, which means the 4 is going to stay a 4. 0.214. That's what your book wants as an answer. In problems like we first tried, when you get a 0, that's a terminating decimal. It ends. It's all done. Sometimes they're going to be repeating decimals. Sometimes they're going to be non-terminating decimals. In the repeating and the non-terminating, you need to have 3 decimal places represented. Okay?
Mr. D, I hear you again.
Okay, good. Go ahead, Grayson.
How do we know when to stop? Like after 3?
Yeah, 4. When you get to your 4th decimal place, just stop.
Okay.
Yep, good question. And that's what Emma did here. Emma got to her 4th decimal place. I don't see anything repeating. She could have gone on forever. But once you get to your 1, 2, 3, 4th decimal place, you stop, you round, and that's what you use to get your final answer. Okay? All right, let's have you try one by yourself.
I have another question.
Yes.
So for every, like, for the non-terminating decimal, when we get to our 4th one, do we have to round to the nearest 10 all the time?
So up here, we got to the 10,000ths column. You always round to your thousand. That's what your book is saying, is to round to the nearest thousandth.
Round to the near all the time?
All the time.
Okay.
That's what they're saying. So that's what I'm going to tell you to do. But in order to round to the nearest thousandth, you need to know what that 10,000th is. Okay. What do you notice about this one when you solve it by yourself, Mr. Darby?
What?
What do you notice about this quotient?
It's gonna keep going?
So my question to you, is it a non-terminating decimal or is it a repeating decimal? What did you get as your answer?
I didn't do it.
No. We will wait. Does anyone else have an answer? Good. Okay, hold on.
Jayla, are you outside?
Leave her alone. She's fine. She's doing her thing. She's fine. What do you got, Alex?
It's not a non-terminating one.
So it's a terminating?
Yeah,
I would disagree. What is 3 divided by 6?
2.
No.
No, 0.
Right. 0 times 6 is,
0.
and 3 minus 0 is 3. Bring down your 8. 38 divided by 6.
6.
6 times 6 is,
36.
and 36 from 38 is,
2.
now what?
You add a 0
Good, yep.
and bring it down.
20 divided by 6.
3.
3 times 6 is
18.
18 from 20.
2.
Then
Add a 0.
20 divided by 6.
3.
3 times 6 is
18.
18 from 20.
2.
20 divided by 6.
18. No, 3.
I've got my 4th decimal place, so I stop. I could keep going. I don't need to. Once you get to that 4th decimal place, you stop. I look at what I have. 0.6333. I need it to be this long, so I look at my next digit. It's a 3, so I round down. My answer should be 0.633. Because I've rounded to the nearest thousandth. Sometimes it will end before then, and that's okay. Sometimes it's a repeating or a non-terminating decimal. If it's a repeating or non-terminating decimal, you stop at that 4th decimal place, you round that 3rd decimal place, and that's what you put as your answer. Okay? Let's do one more. How about... Oh, sorry. Any volunteers? No one? No one? No one wants to volunteer? All right, I'll pick someone. Nick.
All right, okay. Can I start?
Yep.
So you do 9 divided by 3, which is 3. So you do 9 minus 9, which is 0. Then you bring down the 3. And then you do 3 divided by 3, which is 1. And so you do 3 minus 3, which is 0. then you bring down the 4, and then you do 4 divided by 3, which is 1. And then, so you do 4 minus 3, which is 1. And then you have to add the 0 at the top and then bring it down, which is 10. So you do 10 divided by 3, which is 3, and it's 9. And then you do it again, so you put the 0 and then you bring it down. And then it's 3. And then you should be good, so now you have to round.
Right, once you get to that 4th decimal place, you stop. You write down what you got, and you round to the nearest thousandth.
And what you would get is 3.3. So it would be 3 and 311 1,000ths, right?
Say it again?
So 3 and 3,
No.
3 and, okay, wait. 3 and
Take a second.
3 and 3,011ths.
No.
I don't know then.
Yes, you do.
3 and
Yes. What's this?
1
What's this number?
113 1,000ths.
Correct.
No?
Yep.
Okay. There we go.
113 thousandths or 113 1,000ths is fine as well. Okay. So on your homework tonight, on your independent work, some of them are going to be terminating decimals. Some of them will be repeating decimals. Some of them will be non-terminating decimals. As soon as you get to that 4th decimal place, you're done. They could go on forever. You stop, write it down, round to the nearest thousandth, and you're good to go. Does anyone have any questions? All right. Your independent work is workbook page, I believe it's 108, if I'm not mistaken. And it should be posted in Google Classroom now. If it's not, I will go ahead and post it. Whoops. I will go ahead.